You need balanced, objective, incisive analysis of news headlines, making we're both at home and of course the international communities. The platform is conversation, and anytime you have the conversationalists, the duo Tola and Bimbo, rest assured the time is right and the house is set. It's conversation.
Conversation.
A very good morning. This is Oluyole 98.5 FM on the stables of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Welcoming you to Conversation this Monday morning, the 8th day in the month of June 2026. Our conversation is where we bring you stories making the major headlines in the dailies, and we do our best to give you top-notch analysis. In due course, we get to open the phone lines. We invite you to be a part of our little talk shop, and together we try to understand and make sense of those major events unfolding around our dear country, our nation, and our world, as reported by the dailies, Mondays to Saturdays, except Sundays. We are here, and that is what we do on Conversation. That's why the program is called Conversation. Our thoughts, views, and opinions, what we'll be sharing with you as presenters and analysts, not the corporate views of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. That's as we network on Okogo FM 96.3, our sister station in Alaga in the Okogo of the state, Agility FM, Gambari, Ogumosho, on the 92.1 FM dial. No one beats our reach all over this great state. Yes, we are there. Beyond Oyo State, we are there. Beyond the shores of Nigeria, we are also there as we are live streaming. Check us out on Facebook at BCOS, and you are on to Conversation. Once again, wherever you are listening across the world, you are welcome. My name is Tola Teriba.
And my name is Bimbo Akambi. Thank you very much for joining us on the program Conversation on Oluyole FM 98.5 in Ibadan. And of course, yes, we are also live streaming on Oluyole 98.5. You meet us there. No station beats that reach. And well, stories making the rounds across the country, and there are big stories today, this Monday morning, the 8th of June 2026. Yes.
We seem to be having encouraging reports regarding one of the evils that has been plaguing and bedeviling their country, and we hope to have more of this in the days ahead. Like I said at the time, Bimbo, it looks like the Orire kidnappings marks the beginning of maybe the kidnapping to end all kidnappings, and I hope that is going to be the narrative. Now, first, I have a headline before me. It says troops rescue kidnapped victims in Borno, Plateau, and Kaduna. And there in Oyo State, the abducted sister of the APC governorship aspirant Chief Bayo Adelabu and their twin sons who were abducted some days ago. Now they've been rescued by the police. It was a commando-like operation by the Oyo State Police Command, and footages of it actually got to the public of that rescue operation, and just indeed proof that it was indeed a very audacious and daring rescue operation on the part of the police. And if not for those footages, a lot of people would have been having doubts that maybe ransom was paid at that, telling us that the rescue was effected. I understand two of the suspects were neutralized.
Yes.
So it says there, how we identified abductors, located hideouts, rescued Adelabu's relatives, and that's coming from the police. Say kidnappers monitored family for weeks before abduction. Well, good one here, but then it calls for celebration. We should all be happy, and indeed we are happy for the family, for the Adelabu family. But then something that has tainted this good narrative is the fact that the 46 Orire children and their teachers are still in captivity. So
those that were captured, Borno, Plateau, and Kaduna, they have been rescued. But I think moves are also being taken to rescue the 46 girls in captivity, teachers and a principal.
Oyo State Police Commander has revealed how operatives tracked down the abductors of the relatives of the former Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, located their hideout and rescued the victims. Now, speaking at the kidnappers' hideout where the hostages were kept, the Commissioner of Police in the state, Abimbola Ayodeji Olugbenga, said the operation was driven by intelligence gathered after the abduction. According to the police boss, the victims were abducted from town and brought to the secluded location in the building. He said the victims were kidnapped from town and brought here. That's quoting the commissioner now. It appears they were hidden in this location so that nobody would know their whereabouts. The commissioner noted the fact that the victims were taken to a building located in such an open place within a residential area. It's a serious concern, noting that it is surprising that suspicious movements around the property was not reported by residents. What is particularly concerning is that this house is situated within a residential area. People have been seeing individuals coming and going, yet no one reported any suspicious activities, he said. He added that the rescue victims disclosed during interviews that they could hear activities from neighboring compounds, but were unable to leave the premises out of fear of being killed or manhandled by their abductors. Olugbenga stressed the importance of community vigilance, just as he urged residents to promptly report suspicious activities to security agencies. This situation is a lesson to all. If you see something, say something. If these activities had been reported earlier, we might have been able to arrest the suspect sooner, he said.
Well, and like you read just now, the building was located in within a residential area where people might have been noticing some things, noticing some movement, but we are not talking. And the reason, if you see the at least the building, I saw the building looks somehow so modern, and well, I don't know, and well, if it was not for the pictorial evidence now, I thought that maybe ransom had been paid. That was my thinking then.
You know, Bimbo, the Commissioner of Police, well, saying if you say something, say something. Well, yes, he has spoken well, but then in our climate, it's unfortunate that trust gap, that trust deficit still exists between ordinary citizens and the police, the security agencies. Don't let me just say the police now. If you see something, say something. You say something with your mouth. At the end, it might amount to digging your own grave with your mouth.
Yes.
The next thing, it's something that people have experienced before.
Yes.
You say something, and the next thing you are the target of attack. Curiously, the cohorts of those who are arrested or arraigned on the account of your saying something will locate you out. And of course, it's not difficult to know how they got to know that you are the one that squealed on them. So that's one of the things that when people see suspicious activity, then this is a situation where people have learned to mind their business on account of what I just said.
Yes.
So people going in and coming out of a house, well, they'll say, well, this is none of our business. Then of course that house must have a owner. And that owner, I believe, must subscribe to the Landlords Association in that area. So maybe they need to call the chairman of the Landlords Association and then other people, other members of the Landlords Association to ask them questions. That, okay, who is the owner of this house? Is he a member? And then if they eventually find him, it should be also made to answer some questions that who did you let out your house to? And what were they using? Do you have any idea what they are using the house for? I think
yes.
But ordinarily, people saying missing someone going in and out of a particular house, and I don't see them brandishing arms openly. I don't see them smoking in their hemp in the open. I don't see them doing drugs. I don't see them carrying consignments with trucks or whatever in the dead of night. So to me, that would be normal activity. People moving in and out of a house. Of course, if it's all that is occupied, people are bound to move in and out.
Yes.
So I don't know. But like I said also, even if people see suspicious activity, this is an age where there's that trust deficit between us and the security agencies, and we all learn to mind our business.
Yes.
Unfortunately, so I'm not saying I'm not justifying that, Bimbo, but then that is the situation. The police must do something, and the authorities too, to build on that trust deficit.
Yes, that was what I was about to say, that how can the people trust that anything that have been transferred to them through information. Who may not, get to the fact that they are being attacked at the end of the day. I remember the days of police informants. You can remember at least two occasions that I went to cover one. I heard about one. Then it was a long time ago. There was this informant that they call actor. He was a popular person around the indigenous areas of Ibadan. He gave he always gives the police information. He gave a particular information, and he was eventually killed. Yes, in the afternoon, one afternoon, he was offering his prayers. Yes, that area he was killed, and investigations revealed that yes, it was because of one information he gave the police that made him face the death music. And Tola, how can people, what can the police do to make people, have this trust again in them after giving them some information? Of course, they will announce, they will say, bring the information. We will not announce your names. We will not collect your location. We will not. But at the end of the day, these things will eventually happen.
Well, Commissioner of Police said the operatives of the FIDIRT, supported by other tactical teams of the State Police Command, stormed the identified hideout in a well-coordinated tactical operation aimed at rescuing the victims alive. That was the order given to them. So, they were instructed that there must not be collateral damage. The police commissioner stated that upon sighting the advancing operatives, one of the gang members identified as Kelechi, who had traveled from Lagos State and was positioned as a lookout, engaged the operatives in a gun duel. Now, the operatives responded with superior tactical precision, resulting in its neutralization and another unidentified member of the gang, he said. Now, Bimbo, you know why I read these two paragraphs? Because people have been asking questions as to why the same kind of, what did the police commissioner call it now? The same well-coordinated tactical operations. And the same precision aimed at rescuing the victims alive. Why can't that be deployed in the case of the Oluyole hostages, the children, 46 children, and their teachers? And some have actually gone on social media to criticize the police, and some have said, well, maybe because of the status of the minister, that was why this. But then I don't want us to look at things that way at this time, Bimbo. Yes, I did expect that. Well, maybe I also had that feeling that because of the status of the minister, and then maybe the kidnapping of his own sister, unfortunately, tends to be a bigger embarrassment to both the country and the state than the kidnapping of 46 children of ordinary people. Well, like I said, I don't want us to look at things that way at this point in time. Well, some people have argued that the issue, all sorts of argument on the social media, that some people argue that the kidnapping of the Oluyole hostages could have some political undertone, might have been politically motivated, even political interest outside Oyo State. Well, we cannot prove this narrative, but then the argument of those in that school of thought is that that is what is making it a bit complex, a bit more difficult to rescue the Oluyole hostages. But I want to believe, Bimbo, because ordinarily, let's look at it this way. Many of us wouldn't have expected. Of course, we expected that Chief Adelabu's sister and twin sons would be rescued on time. But what most of us expected was that ransom would be paid by the family or even the state government. We didn't expect this kind of operation that we saw. So, for the father, we never expected that to happen, Bimbo, and we are expecting that ransom will be paid and the government would deny that. Will say, but then the footage is there. So, let's also have that faith and belief that the government, either ways, either ransom or either another operation like this, that the government would eventually get those 46 people. They will have them returned to us. And I believe, like I always say, that the authorities are trying to make sure that no one gets hurt among those 46 children and their teachers. 46 is a lot.
Yeah.
Here we are talking about a mother and her twin
kids.
sons, so 2 kids, but 46 is a whooping lot, Bimbo. And to ensure that even if you are going to storm the hideout, to ensure that they all come out alive cannot be cannot be little work. So I still want to have faith, and I commend the police authorities, I commend the state government for this rescue effort. And across the country, well, like I said, the Oyo kidnapping seems to be the one to end all kidnappings now. I hope that is going to be the true narrative in the days ahead. Borno, Plateau, Kaduna, daring rescue operations on the part of the security agencies.
How did the Borno, Plateau, Kaduna, how the troops, carry out that operation that enable them to rescue the victims of the kidnap?
Well, let's see. So troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation SONGS.KAYE have run down one of the terrorists' most heavily fortified enclaves in the Mandara Mountains area of southern Borno State and rescued 360 hostages in one of the most significant hostage recovery operations conducted in the Northeast Theater in recent times. Now, mountainous area, the same areas that the data told us were too difficult.
Yes, the terrain was difficult.
This was confirmed in a statement in Abuja on Sunday by the acting media information officer of Joint Task Force Northeast Operation SONGS.KAYE, Lieutenant Colonel I. Arumo Sonny. He explained that the operation was carried out by OP8K Special Forces and troops of Sector 1 who penetrated a Jama'atu al-Hisuna Lidawatu wal Jihad JAS stronghold deep within the mountainous terrain and secured the release of scores of men, women and children held captive under harsh conditions after being abducted from several communities, particularly within the Ngoshi axis. The statement added that the operation was a combination of weeks of painstaking intelligence preparation, covert reconnaissance and detailed operational planning, noting that the successful rescue highlighted the growing operational reach, intelligence domination and tactical superiority of Operation SONGS.KAYE in denying terrorists freedom of action and protecting vulnerable populations across the theater. So but even if the terrorists decide after this to strike other communities and more of this kind of rescue operations take place, they would know, the terrorists would know that each attack on a community signals their own Waterloo as well, signals their own death sentence as well, because the military would be coming after them. If they know this, these things would eventually stop, and it has to stop them, like I always say.
Yes, and I don't know. It is a theater, it was a theater, a military theater that carried out this operation, not the whole military, you understand? Why can't that be operative here in Oyo State, in really local government area, like you said, mountainous area, a terrain which the military dreaded in the past, but this is a bush, a forest reserve where these people have been packed into. I don't know, why is it so difficult for our security operatives to enter this bush? Although we are always firing, we are always saying yes, collateral damage, which I understand. Any attack might affect these kids, and well, we know that things are ongoing. I understand that a surveillance helicopter, the Air Force have mobilized the surveillance maybe aircraft to aid in rescuing these children and principal and teachers in the bush in Oluyole, along Oluyole local government area of Oyo State. And I hope this will come to pass and this will succeed, and that nothing happens to those abducted, those still alive.
Well, like I said, for terrorist suspects coming into our environment and settling themselves in our forest reserves. Well, perhaps the reason why nothing has been done before was that because they've not been any trouble, and of course they will not present themselves as terrorists when they settle in those bushes. Although I agree with you that settling in a bush where we are not supposed to be should be considered, should be seen as trespassing. But maybe the spirit of freedom of movement and being accommodative of our brothers from other states, from some other ethnic nationalities. Maybe that's why we did not really move in on them, despite the fact that people were crying that these strange alien faces were showing up in our forest reserves, and then we waited until what we feared, like I always say, came upon us. So, but then I believe that the problem is still not insurmountable. Let's have this quick commercial break and we'll be back.
It's choco time. Donald Choco is here with a taste you love. Just open for and enjoy the chocolatey ride. Donald Choco 3-in-1. Taste it, love it. Donald Choco 3-in-1. I love it.
Introducing the new Dano Choco 3-in-1. It's tasty, creamy, and satisfying. Taste it, love it.
Conversation.
Alright, we're back at this conversation on Oluyole 98.5 FM. You know, Bimbo, another angle to the critique of the rescue narrative in Oyo and other parts of the country that we have had perhaps over the weekend or so. Some people are saying that how come them always, at least in the recent past, that it's always easier to effect negotiations. I mean, those kind of negotiations that would eventually see the terrorists having the upper hand, that in northern Nigeria, that always happens, and then the terrorists are pampered and all that. And again, but now coming down, so then northern Nigeria, it becomes very difficult, very hard to rescue the victims. They stay for months in captivity, and the argument of this kind of this school of thought is that it is deliberately made to look as if rescuing victims or fighting terrorists is difficult because of the ethnic nationality, ethnic identity of those perpetrating these acts up north. But then, because the probability is very high that like this in the case of the urban kidnappers now, I'm not talking about the Oriri abductions now, those who abducted the minister's sister, because well, predictably they are not from that ethnic nationality that always takes the blame when these things happen. That was why it was easy to apprehend and neutralize them, some of them, because no big fish was protecting them. But then my own argument regarding that is that it all boils down to what we call leadership. If you say people of a particular ethnic nationality, when they are in power, that they favor their own, that even when they find out that some people are criminals, for the fact that they belong to their ethnic nationality, they are good to go. But then, remember, for God's sake, Babangida was Fulani.
Yes.
And he did not tolerate these things under his watch. Yes, he might have a kind of bias towards his ethnic group, well, that is natural, but then he did not allow them, he did not allow anyone in the name of belonging to his ethnic nationality to stir the honest nest and try to destabilize the country under his watch. Shagari too was Fulani. He was a civilian president, and I recall Bimbo how he dealt decisively. Yes, I was small then, but I have that great memory of how he dealt decisively with my Tatsini.
Yes.
They were the ones that were like Boko Haram at that time, and then he did not even make use of soldiers. He made use of mobile police. That's when mobile police was mobile police, when they were called Kilangu. That's the name they gave them at that time, Kilangu. And those were the ones, and they were very well equipped, heavily and well equipped at that time. So the only Fulani leader that I know that tolerated these things, and perhaps is the cause of what we are all facing today, was the General Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes.
He was the one that opened our doors to every Fulani criminal from across West Africa. He did not have visa on arrival. And some people, there's this conspiracy theory which some people have postulated that it's this idea that some Fulani leaders have, and they've been trying to convince the entire Fulani race that Nigeria belongs to them, has been given to them by Almighty Allah, and therefore they should seize the country by force. Now, like I always say, Bimbo, I don't believe this is the thought pattern of every single Fulani. It is the thought pattern of the criminal leaders of the political elites among them, the criminal political elites among the Fulani. That is that they are the ones putting up those who want to subscribe to this line of thought, among that the ones putting them up to it. So they said that the conspiracy theory was actually being implemented under the name of that curious visa on arrival policy. So, but like I said, Bimbo, this is the work of some the criminal political elites among that ethnic nationality, and they have the collaboration of people, greedy people from other ethnic nationalities as well. So it's not the entire Fulani race that is the enemy. The enemy are like those ones I mentioned, the criminal political elites and their collaborators across other ethnic nationalities. This is what we should be fighting. We should not declare war on the entire Fulani race. But then, thank God we're having more of these rescue operations, that is beginning to look like the government is sitting up to its responsibilities. So thankfully, we will not be having that situation where I would want to attack every Fulani person I see on the street.
Yes, there was a time. One of my uncles had a farm, in one of the suburbs of Ibadan, and the man, overseeing the farm, was of a Fulani nationality. Yes, if you see him, you will know that yes, this one is Fulani, not Hausa, Fulani. He said he wanted to come to town to pay us some visits, my uncle and us. And I said then it was that time that the heat was on, talking about Boko Haram. I said, Baba, don't come, because if you get to town, anything can happen. People are agitated, so don't come. Just stay in the farm, at least for now.
And but we have this misconception also amongst our own people down south, especially in the southwest. They assume that everybody, first of all, they assume that the Hausas are the problem. Many don't know the difference between Hausas and the Fulani. And then they assume that everybody from northern Nigeria, even from the middle belt, even from the north central, they assume that everyone is Hausa. So if they want to perhaps harass anyone on the streets, it's enough for that person to be from the north. Not even they don't even care. Many don't even care to know whether you are Fulani or Hausa. They'll just say Hausa, Hausani, and all that. So, but then we should stop that, and the government should work more on that. We should have enlightenment campaigns to teach us not to profile any ethnic nationality, even the Fulani that we all tend to blame. Every Fulani cannot be evil, like I always say. And what is necessary here again is that the leaders of the Fulani, I'm not talking about the criminal leaders now, I'm talking about those who are genuinely committed to the emancipation and the progress of their people. They must begin to collaborate with those who want to bring education to that part of the country. Even among the herders too now. If only Ruga have been allowed to work, and I understand the position and the plight of the communities that are resisting Ruga, they are afraid and of what the herders can do, going by past antecedents. But then schools will also be put into those places, which is very key. If these people are educated, they will not listen to criminal leaders that tell them, that put arms into their hands and tell them to go and start killing people. That was what Chief Obafemi wanted to do when twice he tried to become president of this country and never succeeded. That was very dear to him, that the fact that education must be taken to northern Nigeria, and they must be well. As we speak, Bimbo, Nigeria accounts for the highest number of out-of-school children in the world, and out of that, northern Nigeria accounts for 70 to 80%. Even aside the fact that the region is ravaged by insurgency. So these are the things we must realize. Don't just close our eyes and say, oh, the Fulanis are the problem and all that. We know the ones, some of them are known, many of them are known, the ones that are putting them up to this criminal acts. And like I said, education is very, very key. While they do what they tend to believe, what they think is their traditional business, which is cattle herding.
So talking about enlightenment, like you said now, which organization, agency should embark on this kind of enlightenment?
There are so many of them that are
So
willing
many,
to
yes.
take up this responsibility.
Yes, they are there. Ministry of Information is there. National Orientation Agency is there. All other affiliated agencies, they are there. I remember during, I think, was it MAMS also, Professor Jerry Ghana, then he embarked on so many enlightenment campaigns concerning, the Nigerian people and Nigeria itself.
But like
you wanted to say something?
but like I said, the criminal political elite, they are the one, because it pays them more. For instance, still talking about the Fulani, it pays them more to see their own people perpetually herding cows and carrying arms with the intent of killing people. It pays them more to see them in that kind of situation. The education would open their eyes,
Yes.
and they would know. The fact that we have that huge cattle industry being run by the Fulanis in this country, it should be a plus for us. It shouldn't be a cost.
Yes.
By now, if we had done the right thing, we should be like the Dutch. We should be like
Yes.
Holland,
Yes.
producing milk, and the Fulanis would have been the better for it. Many a times I will sit and ask myself that why are the leaders of the Fulani not seeing these possibilities that would give their people an edge, even over other ethnic nationalities, an economic edge. That's what I'm talking about. Because the herding of those, it is a gold mine.
Yes.
A cow dies, but the story we have right now is that a cow dies killed by an angry farmer who is when the cow goes into his farm to eat up his harvest, and the next thing, a whole community has to be wiped out for that. That is what the leaders are teaching them. That's what they are teaching them to do, Bimbo. And then, like I said, education is very key. But we must first of all start by weeding out to those criminal leaders. Not all the leaders are criminal, but then the criminal elements that are very, very powerful, that the so-called untouchables, they are the same ones that, and with their collaborators from other ethnic nationalities that are also in the energy sector, they are there too. They are the ones that are pulling back this country.
Yes, in the oil sector too.
They are everywhere, and then we must learn to uproot that. We must deal with the problem from the roots. Otherwise, we'll never will continue to remain at ground zero.
Well, before we go to quickly some other stories here, still talking the rescued sister of Mr. Bayo Adelabu, a day after offering prayers for the safe return of victims abducted in Oluyole local government area of Oyo State, Madam Olufumilayo Adelabu found herself facing a similar nightmare when her daughter and twin grandsons were kidnapped. Yes, she is saying that she prayed for others. It was day after that they kidnapped.
She never knew she would become a victim too.
Yes.
But I guess God in his infinite mercies and wisdom just wanted her to also have a practical feel of what those people in the bush are going through. Well, she wasn't kept in the bush, but then the same trauma, the same cannot be like being in your own house, of course. But we thank God, and then we also we congratulate the Adelabu family, and then we also prayed for them, just as we continue to pray for the Orire hostages who are still in captivity. Security forces fought terror attack in Kogi. Bandits suffer casualties. And Oyo Muslims seek divine intervention for abducted peoples and teachers. By the way, the Muslim community in Oyo State, they've dissociated themselves from the Sharia demand said to have been made by the Orire abductors. Okay, I'm going to the economy and business pages this morning. Senate cancels 10 naira per litre flat tax on sugar sweetened non-alcoholic drinks in Nigeria. And we also have economic hardship frustrating new boat acquisition, business expansion. That's coming from ferry operators. And Oyo government, Nasima youth entrepreneurs collaborate on 1 million tree planting. Now, on this hour exam, Bimbo, WAEC drops 24-hour delivery policy as 3 officials die in auto crash.
Well, this one is saying here, this is a debate that never goes away for too long. And what is due to Nigerian workers? The renewed agitation over workers' wages, triggered by fresh Nigeria Governors Forum proposal to raise the national minimum wage to 100,000 naira per month, only confirms that the country is trapped in an endless cycle of wage adjustments that inflation quickly renders meaningless. And this is a kind of write-up here from The Punch. And this means that the issue is not just about the size of the minimum wage. Rather, there's about whether Nigerian workers can afford to live with dignity. That is why the conversation must shift from a statutory minimum wage to a genuine living wage regime and a stable economy. And the proposal by the chairman of the NGF, Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak of Kwara State, has already been rejected by the organized labor. And the Nigeria Labour Congress, through its spokesman, Benson Ukpa, dismissed 100,000 naira as grossly inadequate and argued that given current realities, a realistic wage would be closer to 1 million naira per month. Like you always say, the millions, 1 million naira that we always hear. We believe that yes, it is a lot of money in this present situation, but of course, like I always say, it is not true. It is not a lot of money. Like you always give examples, a family of 4, and the baba, the head, earning 1 million naira, at least or at most 1.5, 2 million per month. And now, before the month runs to an end, let's just calculate family of 4 or 5 buying petrol, electricity bills, paying school fees, feeding, and all those
hospital bills. If it's rent time, you pay rent. Another by the time the month is coming to an end, that money will, if not finished, it will be almost finished. Because of course the million, it still sounds as if it's something much. That's why we still think it's a lot of money.
And Tola, families are in for I think a continued difficult time. Talking about cooking gas, also cooking gas. Yes, there is an explanation here. That is according to some industrial experts. They are giving explanation on why cooking gas will remain scarce and expensive. Let me just go through this right up here, talking about the reasons. And despite holding Africa's largest proven gas reserves and recording rising gas production, households and industrial consumers are now faced with significant shortages of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG), also known as cooking gas. The development is also putting pressures on retail prices of the product. And findings show that some producers are focused on exporting the product rather than meeting domestic demands. One reason. And data obtained from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission showed that 62% of the total gas output in the first 2 months of this year was exported, leaving only 38% for domestic markets. So those are the major reasons.
Well, on TSC, reps recover 521 million naira withheld VAT from CBN. That's a CBN counters the claim. The House of Reps Public Accounts Committee on Sunday said it's recovered 521,165,134 naira 17 kobo unremitted value added tax VAT unremitted bimbo from the Central Bank of Nigeria CBN as part of its ongoing investigation into revenue leakages and outstanding funds due to the federal government. The recovery is one of the several outcomes of a comprehensive investigation initiated by the House of Reps resolution on a motion titled Investigation of Revenue Leakages Through Remitter Platform and Non-Compliance Substantively with Standard Operating Procedure and Other Allied Service Level Agreement, and subsequently mandated the Public Accounts Committee to investigate the matter.
Remitted funds.
Unremitted.
Yes,
in the CBN.
CBN, imagine.
Unremitted by the CBN.
CBN. And that was what happened then too, at the NNPCL then. And that later it was said that They should look the other way.
And on constitutional review, state police getting immediate attention, says Senate. Sets July date to pass all amendments, and state police legislative framework at 98% completion level, says Kalu. Well, thank God for that.
And well, before we go to the phone lines, the Federal High Court in Lagos has declared unlawful the National Assembly's controversial 110 billion naira expenditure on vehicles and allowances for lawmakers, holding that the spending violated procurement laws, constitutional obligations, and the public trust. And in a judgment delivered on May 6, 2026, Justice Yelim Bogoro ruled that the planned expenditure of 40 billion naira for the procurement of 465 vehicles for members of the National Assembly and 70 billion naira in support allowances for newly elected lawmakers breached the provisions of the Public Procurement Act, the Code of Conduct for Public Officers, and the oath of office prescribed by the Constitution.
Now that 110 billion naira to be spent on the comfort of the lawmakers, that to the authorities of this country is very realistic. It is the 1 million naira minimum that is unrealistic, and that 110 billion naira, the economy will not collapse.
Yes, sir, to the phone lines now, 070-5555-1985-080-5500-9850. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you, Mr. Joe Michael.
Yes, sir. Mr. I want to say, what do you call it? I hope you enjoy your weekend. Yes, let's do that one. Yes, the issue of the reality you are doing over here. Really, I used to start your analysis. Yes, Mr. President, when you said that Babangida, Fulani, Shagari, Fulani, and all those, even the cop, all those menace during their regime, fine. Now we can see that our security agencies, they are working now. You are not saying they are not working before. If they want to work, they will work. Look at what they are doing now. So they should apply the same method to rescue those adults of those that are adopted in the local government. They should make sure that they were released 2 weeks ago. By it shouldn't be more than this week, because they will be celebrating June 12th, and if they do not release them, we don't want any June 12th celebration. No. They should release them and give them to us as a gift for June 12th this year celebration. And on the issue of state police, yes, they should complete it at the appropriate time. God bless you. Happy night, that's all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Joe Michael. The Nigeria Air Force has deployed the surveillance aircraft to aid the rescue of the Oluyole victims.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bebo.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nigerian Airways and Nigerian Air Force plan to deploy aircraft after 23 days. Then, on the issue of budget limitation, how else would you describe the failure of a government when you have the largest gas reserve and you are buying the most expensive LPG in your country, and you come out with one excuse or the other? Somebody is not producing again, refinery is not producing, some people are importing and all that, and you have the government looking at all this. You are buying a kg of gas at 2,400, 2,300, and you have the government saying this. How else do we describe the failure? Then, on the issue of people and what the police have been doing, you said it now. This thing, when you are dealing with kidnappers, you know how to make it. But when you are dealing with professional kidnappers, they know the implications of all those things. And this thing can be done. It can be prevented. It can be done. But government is not ready to do anything. That's just it. They are not ready to. Technology used to capture those ones they captured 2 days ago. Was it not technology? Tracking and all that. So you cannot track those people in the forest. My brother, then the issue of some people who are profiling some people and all that. Look at what these people are doing. You see, all this analysis you give them should not be doing that. They can come after we have resolved the conflict. But even the conflict has not started. The one came out with 3 years rehabilitation. All the Mr. Bola talk can come after the rehabilitation, restructuring, and rebuilding of Nigeria. After we have fought and won the conflict. The conflict has never even been fought at all. Look at what they did at South African Republic. Look at what they are doing at Mali. So they are not the tribe in Mali, the major tribe there, but they are constantly operated across the Sahel. So you think these people will listen to you? People will have been blocked. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Judy, on the contrary, I think we are actually already in conflict. If you talk about the magnitude of attacks across the country by terrorists, by kidnappers, by people who have warped ideology about religion, I think the conflict is already here. So solving it is what should be on the front burner now. Let's have this quick commercial and we'll be back.
Wake up, it's choco time. Donald Choco is here with a taste you love. Just open, pour, and enjoy the chocolatey ride. Donald Choco 3 in 1. Ooh, taste it, love it. Donald Choco 3 in 1. Ooh, I love it.
Introducing the new Dano Choco 3-in-1. It's tasty, creamy, and satisfying. Taste it, love it.
Conversation.
Yes, the program is still Conversation on Oluyole FM 98.5 right here in the city of Ibadan. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Anwelem.
Now I'm talking about TCN. Let's talk about the you can see how corruption is going on in Nigeria. The whole TCN. Everywhere. Nigeria is a country full of corruption. It should have the government of corruption, corruption. Now about planning, Mr. Planning, and talk about. Planning, we can talk about. You can see what planning, they are official people. Let me ask a question. If the Lamar carries the president of the claimant, because he is to go to prison, that's 3 years in Nigeria. Everything just in Nigeria, let's go matter. Now about the not take opportunity number. I don't even know they are up there for 46. What government they are doing? Up there for them push, lavishing. It's a picture of Nigeria. Thank you much.
Right,
Thank you very much.
Well, remember, one thing we must again all realize is the fact that you cannot wish away the Fulani. They are part of Nigeria. They are a whole ethnic nationality. You can just sit there and wish that they disappear. Because, so, like I said, we must weed out the bad elements among them. That is what we need to do, especially, like I said, the criminal political elite, criminal political Fulani elite, who are the ones actually causing the problems in this country.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I can be available from you.
Good to have you, sir.
This is a complex issue. Nigeria itself is very complex. And you and I know the solution to all our problems. But the first 20 person who dare say it out will be arrested, will even be killed. We know the solution to the problem of this country. This country is very complex. This is also very complex. Let me tell you, Nigeria is a country harboring so many countries. Good morning.
Oh, thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much.
Well, I want to answer the guess as to what he thinks that solution is. Maybe the separation of the different ethnic nationalities, but that is a possibility. I don't think anyone should be arrested for voicing that out, as long as we have ideas as to how it can be done peacefully and amicably in a way that will be mutually acceptable to all the other ethnic nationalities. And that's why we've been having this series of conferences. Unfortunately, the reports have not been implemented.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you, sir.
The rescue of Sia Tankale's sister and the church. In fact, everybody in Jesus mode. But there's one assertion, let me say rumor. People are not attributing the success to the police. The success is that is responsible. But which way or which other way, we are so happy that they release Another thing is that people are saying that this is because his gentleness is immutable in the society. That is why they easily steal the sister. And that because the children of the students are so poor, they are from poor families. That is why they still stay put to failure. And the women say it in the Yoruba language that if anything happens to a big man in the town, so people will decide in this a bad woman. But when it happens to a poor, a downtrodden, they will be saying that that's a good woman. So we say, we are thinking that the same people, even if it's a girl or whether the police, they should use the same system to make sure that they replace the students and the teachers. That's the
Thank you, Dr. Ayelabogo. Well, Mr. Chief Sunday Adeyemo, aka Sunday Igboho, has denied any involvement in that rescue operation, and he gave all the kudos himself. He gave all the kudos to the police.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I want to reply Mr. Paula. I heard the conflict, Mr. Paula. I heard the conflict has already started. We've not started any conflict too. Nobody is fighting these people as of now. No ethnic group, no group is except the government and them that are fighting. Nobody has raised any hands against them. By the time people start raising hands against them, that's when they will know that we are not foolish in this country. So, thank you.
Okay, now I get your point, Mr. Jide, but I hope we don't get to that point. I pray that what you have described now is a descent into chaos, like I always say, and I hope it doesn't get to that. I know we are also praying that it doesn't get to that, and that we will solve the problem, we'll work things out before it gets to that.
Actually, it will not get to that. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, my name is Kilo Alabi from Akasha. I just want to comment on the statement given to Mr. President, saying that Nigeria will not bow to terrorists and as well as the bandits. First and foremost, as we the college of Mr. President. But I want Mr. President to back up the statement with action. Because these bandits are not taking it lightly with us. See how our military has made against Leopard in Borno State like Iran. See how these bandits, they overrun the immigration in the women, so capture the waste of properties. So if this thing want to stop, all this radicalization, integration of President Boko to society should be stopped. Also, our military should be protocol with sophisticated equipment. Also, all this military personnel, there are some newcomers, dissidents and Nigeria among them. Or because they support this Boko with information. That's what made this fighting so difficult. That's my comment. Have a nice working day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Federal government approved 5 evacuation flights for Nigerians in South Africa.
Hello, good morning.
Right.
Just last week, the Assembly warned against this thing where Mr. Kidi from Mr. Abadio said that the time is coming when people want to defend themselves. And can't you foresee such happening very soon? Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's why we are saying that we pray it doesn't get to that. And I believe, well, from what we have seen over the weekend, that I hope it will be sustained. The federal government seems to be standing up more to its responsibilities.
Yes, this one last call. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, I'm Adimola from Badon.
Good, Mr. Adimola, please go.
On this Adelabu sister, the sister was rescued. So the state agencies and the police have recorded a remarkable success, and they have accomplished. And there's more to do. The security agencies and the police have planned for possible rescue. And with commitment, they have information, and people should be vigilant and be watchful. So on this gas, you see, there is shortage of gas, and gas has to be delivered, and the prices must come down.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You've made your point. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Demola. Our check-in time is 7:30 and we have to go. Been an interesting time on conversation this morning. And we'll be back same time tomorrow morning, God willing. My name is Tola Teriba.
And my name is Bimbo Akombi. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy your day. And of course, Sports Tidbits is next.
Conversation.
Oluyole FM 98.5 Oluyole